Dave Parody here with another slide makeover video podcast based on the ideas in my book, The Visual Slide Revolution. Today's podcast comes from a subscriber, somebody who watches the podcasts all the time, and she had an interesting request. She wrote in and we talked on the phone, and she said, in my situation, I love the podcast you do, but in my situation it's a little different. My bosses want to minimize the number of slides. I think this is a common thing at many organizations, trying to minimize the number of slides. It doesn't help solve the situation of bad PowerPoint, by the way. But she says, when I produce them, they have to be minimal number of slides. And most of the podcasts you do, the makeovers you show, you take one slide and create multiple slides from it if they have multiple messages. How do you put a couple of messages on one slide? How can you do that effectively? Can you show us a makeover? So that's what this week's makeover is. This is a sample slide that I created based on some discussions that I've had, and it's around home insurance. And the idea is that if you insure the assets in your home, gives you peace of mind, and you limit your loss because of the deductible. If you have a higher deductible, your premiums go down. So we start with this as a slide, and normally I would say, this should be two slides. One to talk about the benefit of insuring the assets in your home, and the other about the relationship between deductible and premium. Although the deductible is related, because that's the whole point of the limit loss point there. So how do you do this if you can only have one slide, but you want to have multiple points or multiple messages on it? Let me show you what I did. When we're talking about home insurance, insuring your home, the assets in your home, gives you a feeling of security, because once you take out insurance, what it gives you are two things. First of all, peace of mind. You know that you won't lose everything because you have insurance. Insurance is there to give you that sense of security, that peace of mind. And you also limit your potential loss. Every insurance policy has what's known as a deductible. A deductible means that if you make a claim, there's a certain amount that you will bear on your own, which the company will not pay. So you choose what that deductible is to limit your loss. Now, when you're choosing the deductible, understand there's a relationship between the deductible and the premium you pay on an annual basis. And so if we looked at a deductible going on our horizontal axis, the higher deductible is to the right. Here's how the relationship works between the premium and the deductible. As you take a higher deductible, the premium comes down. The reason for that is that the insurance company has less potentially that they're going to have to pay out if you make a claim, so they're willing to make you a better deal and charge you a little less on the premium. The amount of difference is going to depend on a number of different factors, but there is a relationship that as you take a higher deductible, the premium does get reduced. So that's a slide that has 2 points that are related on the same slide. What are some of the lessons that we can learn when we're putting multiple points on a slide? First lesson, physically separate the two messages, the 2 points. And you can do it with either space, if there's enough space, or what I did in the sample that I showed today was a vertical line. Now, when I did that vertical line, I did it in a gray, so it wasn't so bold, and I did it dotted, which is a fine dot. It makes it subtle, but still there, so it gives people visually separate the two ideas. Each individual point that I'm making had its own headline, and that's very important because you want people, again, to, just like all the persuasive visuals we create, the first step in our 5-step method in the book is to create a headline that summarizes the key point. If we have multiple points, we need multiple headlines. Also, make sure that you build each point. Now, building, which is part of step 5 in the 5-step process, keeping focus of the audience, is even more important when you have multiple messages, multiple visuals on the slide, because if you put them all up, then people start to really get confused on what are they talking about now, how do these relate. So make sure that you use the animation build, as you saw me do, to build each of the points separately. And then the final lesson is talk about how the points are related. If they are not related, they should not be on the same slide. So that's one of the rules, and these 2 points were related because the limiting of loss is really around the deductible. So I related those 2 points and told people how they're joined, why those two visuals were on the same slide. If you don't tell them how they're related, people start to wonder, well, why are these on the same slide? I don't see the connection here. If things are on the same slide, they should have some sort of a relationship or connection. So if you have to have a slide restriction in terms of numbers of slides, and you need to put multiple points or multiple messages on one slide, follow these lessons, and you can still use visuals. You can still create the persuasive visuals and work within an imposed limit on number of slides. For more information on the book, you can go to www.visualsliderevolution.com. For more information on my training, workshops, seminars I deliver, the consulting, other resources such as videos, you can go to my main website at www.ThinkOutsideTheSlide.com. This has been Dave Parody with another Slide Makeover video podcast.